My recording hasn't stopped. Oh, wait, upload recording. Okay, okay. Progression.
Listen, hey,
Come along.
hey. Listen, y'all are catching us a little bit back scene, but this is how we flow. Kitty and I, we have such a great rapport after these 10 years of getting to know each other.
Amen.
Um, but we are so excited about this announcement for so many different reasons. But one of the main ones is just, it feels like a dream come true. It just feels like when we first got in contact way back when 10 years ago on LinkedIn, who knew what was going to happen when we got in touch? But I felt, I don't know, I hope you did too. I felt a certain type of chemistry that our lives and our business lives and our friendship lives were somehow gonna stay intertwined. And it has totally happened that way. So let me just talk a little bit first about why are we here. We're here for women, investing in women. And those who know me know that sisterhood has just been in the cornerstone of almost all the work that I have done, pouring into our young ladies, creating youth groups, etc. And then when I started becoming successful, I wanted to pour back into the community. And the ways that I knew how to do that was to pay it forward, literally. So giving out small micro loans, small micro grants to Black and Brown owned businesses, to women owned businesses. And that's how Miss Kitty Rose and I actually ended up meeting. And so before we go into the story of how we met, I would love for Miss Kitty Rose to do an introduction around who you are. Who are you, my sister? Like, I know the powerful being that you are, but let's tell everybody else the powerful being that you are.
Well, hey world, thank you for joining us. I am not new to the I am a Black woman. Yes, I matter community. But for those that have not met me before, yes, as Kamara stated, we have been in a business friendship relationship for over now coming over 10 years. And it's been a beautiful thing because one, we met via social media. And two, it's actually been a very great support system where I actually feel like you support me more than I support you. But I definitely feel the synergy of both companies working together and still working together after 10 years on projects where we've made money, projects where we didn't make money, but it wasn't a situation where neither one of us wanted to stop going forward. And we're both about our people. So that was definitely something that always connected us. We're about the youth, we're about our people, we're about empowerment. So those basic qualities or attributes of ours just continue to form the synergy to where we are now. Yeah, man. And just you watching my career kind of like flourish to now TV broadcasting from when
Wow.
we first started, and I was just this not just this. It's always something with us as women, but retailer coming into email marketing, coming into my one woman show after I saw the production that you first initially
That's
produced,
right.
the Girl on Fire. Then I was like, oh wait, I got
This
something
is
for
on
you,
fire. This is on
and you were
fire.
like, all right, sis, let me see the paperwork. And that's the other thing, you know what I'm saying? Like our friendship or relationship is not based on it is, but it isn't. We still are business. We still make sure we handle the business part of the friendship. It's just not like, oh girl, I see you. Oh girl, I see you. No, we are very like, okay, what's the business? What's the formula? What's the verbiage? All right, let's go.
What's the verbiage? Do we agree? Are we in agreement? And
Yes,
we're very much in alignment. What's our profit sharing? Well, like what, like, let's have the real conversations. Let's have the
exactly.
honest conversations. Let's have the hard conversations. So we need to negotiate. Let's do that. And then in this way, you actually protect the friendship because the parameters are clear. You know what the boundaries are, you know what everybody expects, you know exactly what everybody's role and responsibility is within the friendship and the business relationship as we are sister kiki and all that. You got to handle your business. So I think this is a great point that you put up. And yeah, let's talk about the history. I mean, I think when you first reached out to me, I just loved what I was seeing on LinkedIn, and people who know me know that I wasn't a big social media person. I'm becoming, I guess, more into it now. That has been recent in the last recent year or two. But LinkedIn was always my thing because I was always getting business off LinkedIn, and I was watching the work that you were doing, and I was like, I want to see what this is about. We reached out to each other, and I can't even remember what the small amount of money was, but invested a small amount of money in a small five figures, and it was good, and we started going from there. And then, to your point, I was doing Sisters on Fire, and I had a panel speaking, and I said, hey sis, do you want to come speak on my panel? We're elevating the voices of Black people and Black vendors across New York City. And you were like, yeah, let's do it. And just the beauty of how watching the evolution. And then, my God, when we did IMU off Broadway, and then the pandemic happened, and then we started streaming it online, and like all the stuff that we are doing. Actually, we should put it in the show notes. We should drop the link for IME if anyone wants to check it out or whatever. I don't know if it's still available, but let's talk about it. Let's see. But it was your one woman show. It was your creation. It was your life stories that you were sharing with the world. And I think this is something that you and I both believe in, is that our voices as Black women, as women, need to be heard. I think that the media right now has always catered to a certain voice, a certain way of being, a certain point of view, and we want to elevate the plethora and the diversity of what lives between women, what lives in Black women, what lives with women of color, Indigenous women. We're not a monolith. We all have different stories and ways that we come about into the world, ways that we sit. But most importantly, we all are human beings, and we're worthy of our voices and our stories and our experiences being not only heard but valued and respected. And I think that, actually, I know this is one of the reasons why Women Investing in Women, when we decided, let's use this platform that you have as an award-winning TV producer. Let's just won an award. So I know we got to,
Yeah.
let's give the flowers, okay? Because you've been out here in the community, you've been doing the work, you've been learning the things, you're teaching other people, you've got interns that you work with, you actually teach the craft that you know. And then just a few weeks ago, you won an award that really said, that honor the work that you do, not just in New York City and in the community, but really on a national and global level. So you want to talk a little bit more about that? Yeah, my sister, pat yourself on the back. Absolutely.
Well, this is what I want to start out by saying, is that this is what we are about: women investing in women, but not just investing in women, leading by example. I know that you and I are not strangers to positive collaborations. We are not strangers to collaborations that don't work. But what keeps us going is the fact of, we still have to set the example. We still have to set the tone. Whether they're bad or good, we have to still keep going with our agenda, what we are, what drives who we are individually. And what drives who we are individually is empowerment, and particularly empowerment of our people. And then women happen to benefit because we're women. So of course we want to see us win, but not only see us win, we know that, like we did statistically, women, companies run by women, or yeah, run by women, even if they're not owned by women, have a higher success rate than companies that are run by men. We also know that women also invest more than men. And the funny thing is, I've had more male investors, but I've never had someone be as consistent as you. So I think that that's the difference between you and another woman investor I have, Alethea Brown. Like, you guys have kind of stayed the course, like you said, in the different developments of where the KittyRose lifestyle has been, from IMU to now my award-winning, yes, television show.
Yes.
And the one thing I love about the last award that I got recently was, not only, like you said, it hit the local level here in New York, but it was for social media impact. So that's a global initiative that my show or my audience has now been able to reach because of the work that I do on social media, or just in general, because social media is just one platform. The work that you have to do when it comes to marketing and letting people know who you are and being consistent far reaches past social media. But social media being a platform and being recognized, that I'm not just on here like, let me post something, but it's actually creating impact. And that's what the show, the next chapter, where Women Investing Women, is going to be on. You know what I'm saying? Which is like a divine confirmation, because you know you're doing good work, but when others see you doing good work and acknowledge the work you're doing directly, it's like, all right, let's go. Like, you thought I was bad before? Oh no, oh
You
no.
ain't seen that yet. Hey, wait, you giving me a global platform? Like, baby, it's about to
Right.
be on and
Well,
popping.
which is why we getting ready to go on a worldwide global tour, baby.
Okay, baby. And so let's talk about that global tour, and let me talk a little
Yes.
bit about the brainchild behind it. So, um, I don't tell this story because people don't believe it, but I used to be really shy when I was a kid.
And you are
I
kind of still shy. Okay.
I think so too. I'm glad you said that because I think I'm still shy. But a lot of people are like, no, you always out and about. But sometimes I'll be out and about, but then you'll find me like in a corner chilling by myself. Like I got to take a little breather while I'm out here with the people because it takes a lot of energy for me. But I will say that I was shy as a kid, even within my own family. I was always up underneath, especially when I was younger, just always underneath my mom's legs. And just like, she'd be like, girl, that's your grandfather. Go say hi. And like, that kind of shy that I had. Obviously I came out my shell a little bit. And I would say that being a teacher in the classroom has really helped me hone those skills because baby, you don't have time for ego when you're dealing with high school students. Let me just say that, they'll let you know about yourself real quick.
Yes, real
Uh,
quick.
they sure will, right? And so somehow in my education work, I had been asked to start speaking at different conferences and representing different ed tech companies and some of the work that we were doing successfully across the United States. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll just start doing that. And then people started asking me to do work on the entrepreneurial side. And then of course people knew that I was giving money back in small doses to the community. So talking to me about like investing before now like everyone talks about angel investing and investing this big thing. But back when we started, it wasn't even like I don't even know if they had the terminology, and if there was a term, it
Right.
wasn't as popular as it is currently at this moment in time. And so, having moved from New York, living in Nashville for a little bit, back to New York, and now here I am in Miami for the last 4.5 years.
Wonderful.
And Miami has really catapulted the work that I'm doing to a global level, right? So, like last year, I was honored to be selected to speak at the House of Lords to talk about the work that we're doing here in the United States around investing in women-owned businesses. As a woman, investing in women-owned businesses and thinking about diversity. And I really wanted to have this not just a national impact, but a global impact. And it started, I would say, like the nascent started during the pandemic. So if we go back to that time that I asked you to
Um,
come and talk on this panel, and as you recall, that event was sold out. And what was happening is when the pandemic happened, which was a few months later, everything had to shut down. And so then I was getting calls from Black women across the country, like, "Hey, that thing that you did? Can you do that virtually?" And so that's how I'm a Black woman. Yes, I matter. That's how that YouTube channel started. And then one day, we got Zoom bombed by some white terrorists. And they took over our thing. And I had articles. They were all in the grios, talking about it, and it was really quite disturbing. And it was a very emotional time, and I was talking to the FBI. I mean, there was a lot of different things that were going on. And I think about that time often because I think they were trying to silence me, to scare me, to get me in my feels, to really feel terror. And I did for a little bit. I felt the terror, but I wasn't going to be quiet. I decided, oh, we're going to make a whole big press thing around it. And then I went on this press junket, and I was calling the FBI, and I'm talking to the local police department and their cyber security sort of things, departments that we had. And so I dealt with that for a few months to a year. And now I think 5 years later, not only have I not been silenced, but I've been on these global platforms. And now we got a TV show that at least that we know of has 4.7 million viewers. And then as we continue to start streaming on Amazon, Roku, etc., and then when we start becoming syndicated, and now we're also going to have the podcast, like we're going to be reaching tens of millions plus of people all around the world. And I'm thinking, man, these people really try to scare me, to silence me. And it happens to a lot of women, especially happens to a lot of Black women who are vilified for the things that they are saying. And we're saying, no, we're not going to shut up. In fact, we're going to amplify. And then we're going to use our platform to amplify the voices of others. So I just wanted to just talk a little, like, I just wanted to give some of that context as to why, even more so, this is like, God, this is like a dream come true. And the
Yeah.
fact that we are doing this together has really, it's just a beautiful thing. I mean, I'm kind of like speechless about it actually, because it's just such. So because I'm speechless, I'm gonna let you talk for a little bit.
Well, as you were sharing with the audience, the silencing of our voice. Anytime I notice that people are about progression, you are going to be slightly, lightly attacked, because it's like they do it out loud, but a lot of it is underneath. A lot of it is underneath, and you get caught up in the frustration of it all, and you end up kind of just like, giving up. So it's
Yeah.
it's important that folks see that your voice cannot be silenced, and then what it looks like to take the necessary steps to make sure that your voice isn't silenced, and that you have a support team around you if you feel like you can't be that voice. Like, it's funny, like, yeah, you're shy, and you're being forced with your professional career to come out of this shell, but again, you're not really the focus. You are the anchor, to
Mhm.
amplify the voice of all of these other businesses and women and entrepreneurs and projects and investments that you believe in. You are the force behind things. And I think that's the other, not I think, that's the other thing people don't see enough. They don't
Mm.
see enough women. They hear women investing, they see the statistics of women investing, but how many of us actually have women who are investing, who are not girlfriends, who are not family relatives, who are not significant others, who actually have the business sense and savvy to see the potential of someone's project or someone's vision and says, okay, I got you. And if I don't got you, I'll connect you to those that can. Because there were times that you weren't always able to give a dollar amount, but you gave a phone call referral, you gave a director. I mean, you were able to still be instrumental in other things. And that's what we have to begin to also show. Like, if you can't always give a dollar, then how also are you able to be effective in that relationship of helping or assisting or even mentoring another woman in business? Because this is the great thing about us. We have some time, we have some years in what we do. So we've
Yeah.
developed how we contracts. We've developed how we even work with each other. We've developed how we speak to those. We developed all of these things that now we're able to do these years later. But for our younger sisters who were, intimidated by being the only woman in a room, being the only woman of color in the room, being in a room where, and I don't want to digress, but being in a room where men want to invest, but they also want to sleep with you.
Mm. Holla. That's one of the things we can start talking about. We won't
Wow.
go into depth, but that could be one of the topics, because I think it is something that we have to. There's a line, right, and we straddle this line quite a bit. And the idea that, I mean, attraction is important. It's how people do business. There's actually lots of research that says the more attractive a person is, the more money that they are attracted to them.
Attracted to.
So let's not be out here and say like looks
Right.
don't mean anything.
Right.
Let's be real
Probably
about it,
right.
right? And in fact, we could use it as a power if we understand the true
Right.
nature of it, right? So we could talk about that, not today because we only got a
Right.
few minutes. We're here to launch the thing, but that could be one of the topics that just
Right. It
naturally
will be
comes
one
out
of the topics.
of conversation as we're going, right? Because this is the thing about the platform. We want it to be conversational. Yes, we want people to learn something, to take many things away. Literally, I'm a big proponent of, once you stop listening to us, what's the actionable step that you learn that you can implement right then and there,
Yes.
right? But we're also going to be unearthing and uncovering some of these uncomfortable truths that we have to confront as we are walking through the world. But the idea is that we can create these safe places. And I
Right.
think that safety and psychological safety, emotional safety. This is what I think maybe sometimes a lot of women are missing. It's like, where are the places where I can be safe to say
Mhm.
the things that I need to say, to be vulnerable, to get the information that I need to get, to say, listen, I can't do it all. I'm not Superwoman, and I'm okay with that. I need a
Right,
team. I need help. Well, here are the gaps. Here are the
right,
opportunities that I have. And this is what we're trying to do: is create this sort of community that is psychologically safe, that is based off of empowering one another, that has at its root joy and positivity. And I don't mean in a way that you can't come in here with issues or
right,
troubles, or not. We are glossing over trauma. No, but that the work is rooted in joy and positivity. Because
yes.
frankly, as a Black person who walks these streets, I want to be joyful. I want to be able to laugh. It is healing to do those things.
And that's the other part. We've been able to do that. So that's the other part we want to be able to show. How do you still live your life? How do you still manage and have the balance of making sure you don't work too hard? It was a minute for me to figure that out. It was a minute for me to understand the balance between work life and still raising my family. When I left corporate America to be a full-time parent, to be a full-time partner, but I was still missing in those areas because I had a full-time business that I was taking on. So it's also teaching our women in business how to balance, how to manage having that home life, having that family structure life, if that's what you want, and still maintaining your work life. And not only, let's say, the family life, because not everyone wants to be a mom, but let's say those that are in relationships. I used to date a brother, and I used to come home from work after closing my store, let's say 7, 8 o'clock at night. I'm coming to his house because he lives in Harlem, but I'm still on the phone with a client at 10 o'clock. And he's like, "You're not here." And I'm like, "What do
Mm,
you mean? What do you mean I'm not? I'm here with you." And he was like, "But you're not here." So it's
yeah.
not just learning the business component of business, but it's also learning how to manage your life. So we have 8 shows so far. So far, we're getting ready to produce, starting from New Orleans, coming to Houston, going to New York. Like, we have all of these topics that we want to get into an hour podcast show, an hour television show. But it's also, I don't know how many years you got, but I got 18 years as an entrepreneur. How many years you?
Yeah. Let's see. So tech was officially started in 2013, but before that, I had a nonprofit organization where I taught kids, called Peace Nonprofit. Positive education always causes elevation, and I taught kids, actually, ironically, video production, because that's what I went to school for. That's what I went to NYU School of the Arts for,
Irony.
and we won some national awards around that project. But I was in my 20s, and I was just like, okay, we've been there, done that, and then I moved on to something, moved
So
on to something
damn near
else.
your adult life. Damn near your adult life, you've been in business for yourself, taking
Yes.
jobs here and there. And that's the other part. Not necessarily taking jobs. Again, we talked earlier in the show about verbiage. It's about extensions of what it is that we already do. You know
That's
what
right.
I mean? So
That's
it's
right.
about, learning the crafts of all of these other things. Like, I came as an entrepreneur doing one thing 18 years ago, and now 18 years later I'm producing television. But it took time, and I don't want to say ups and downs, but ups and downs and sideways and all of these things to understand where it is that I'm at today and be comfortable with that. So giving, not, I don't want to say advice, but giving the tools for our other younger women entrepreneurs to kind of have how to stay the course, how to stay
Mm,
focused, how to stay reinventive with what you do. Because when we talk about extra revenue streams, it's not about having a plan B to go get a job. It's about learning how to figure out in what it is that you do, how you can continue to make these different revenue streams so that you can live and eat, survive, and make it to the next year of experience and understanding of who you are as a businesswoman, who you are as a business owner, who you are as a small business, a mini business, a micro business, a non-for-profit, a for-profit. Like, you don't know those things right off the bat. You might think you do. What's the difference between an LLC and a sole proprietor? Is it better to be a corporation? Like, all of these things you would think is not important, but it is. And then
oh yeah.
because you don't think it's important, then you don't do it. I'm gonna tell you, I've been on and off the system for 20 years. But I tell you one thing, I pay my taxes as a business. You know what I'm saying? I got an
Yeah.
accountant every year that whether I make money or don't, we make sure we pay our quarterly taxes to New York State. So you have to still understand how you can maneuver or how you need to maneuver so that you can stay the course and you can stay past the 10 years, because until you get to those 10 years, you're not even a business. You're still an idea. That's what they say.
Listen, and I do want to just to add my little 2 cents. I actually think it is more than okay to be building a business and having a full-time job. I think it's more than okay if you need to go back and get
Okay.
your W-2, get your retirement, because I'm also about, building your wealth, protecting your assets, and use all of the ways that you can do that to protect yourself and to continue to build your wealth. And I think that I do have some like friends like you are like die hard, like you're not an entrepreneur if you have a job. And
No,
I'm kind of like, well,
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that you don't have to. I feel like sometimes the job or the plan B is what messes people up.
I
I
got you.
understand having a job to have that extra income. I'm not opposed to that, but I'm opposed to going to run to get a job because you're scared at the potential of what your business can do. That is the thing
Yeah,
that
I
I
think
find so
yeah,
many
yeah,
of us do.
yeah. Using
We're
it like a clutch. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear
yeah,
you on that
you know
one.
what
I
I'm
hear
saying?
you on that
Like,
one.
I
Yeah.
remind you, I gotta go teach. That 1099 that comes from as an independent contractor, I'm teaching some of my curriculum. I'm teaching their curriculum. That's a job, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still a teacher. I'm still
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
impact. I'm still doing what it is that I love.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
I got a 1099 from somebody else. However, I'm not running to get, but I have felt like that. There's been so many times that I've like, I need a job. I got to get a job. I need a job. But I also find that, and I'm gonna do a little minister part. I didn't put minister in the title, but I'm a minister, everybody. I'm gonna put a little preachy in it, just a little bit. That don't be nothing but the devil trying to tell you that you can't do it and
Mm,
scares you into
mm.
getting a job. And if you are good at what you do, then sometimes that job ends up now being the hours that you got to put in rather than the hours that you have to put into your own project. And now your own project or your own business gets derailed or delayed another 6 months, another year, because of that fear of, oh my God, oh my God. And again, I ain't advocating people going into housing court, not paying their rent so they live the dream. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, we got to be creative in what it is that we do, so that we don't feel like even when we're working, that it's a job.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. So these are the type of conversations that we're going to
Yes.
be having. We're going to be upskilling. And what's great about the tour is that it's always going to be different people. It's going to be people from the local cities that we're a part of, from the local countries that we're going to be going into. So I wanted
But
to,
not
okay,
me.
I'm going to go and talk about the tour dates, but go ahead. You
But
said
not
not you because
me.
you're the
Sales in
director.
New York, because I am the director.
You are the director.
I
Except
am
for
the
that one time we're going to
woman.
do our fireside chat because it's so
Right.
important that we do
That's
our
the only
fireside
one.
chat.
But I am the visual of this tour. I am going to be the one that makes sure you and all the women are beautiful and get the right lighting and get the right camera angles. So that is what I will be doing on this tour. So you will rarely see me on camera, but I'm like Spike Lee a little bit. I make sure I get in the camera and shot just a little bit. Just a little. So you'll see some behind the scenes of me shooting the women on in this, because we will definitely want to take you guys not just on the tour of the conversations, but we want to take you guys behind the scenes so you guys can see how we're building this tour, how we're creating these lives for you guys to get closer to us and understand what it is that we're doing, creating activations, in these different cities that we're going to be doing this tour in when Kamari gives you the dates. I'm just saying it's going to be so much involved, and we want you all to be a part of this, because a lot of times gatekeepers, they want to keep everything, even the behind the scenes of how it gets done. Everything is not glamorous, but everything is worth the work. So we want to show you guys it all. So yes, you will be seeing pictures of me shooting the women, shooting them. But I am directing this series, and I'm so excited because, yes, I am someone who is in front of the camera and likes to be in front of the camera, but I love the power behind the camera. I
Mm,
love telling the story because for some reason I feel like, and I love my men, don't get it twisted, but I just feel like they don't always get the layer. They don't always get the warm part of the story.
mm.
Everything is just,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So
I hear
that
you.
female energy, that mom energy, will be able to, show all of the women that we're going to have in all of these cities that are going to be joining these conversations, that I show you guys in the best visual light possible.
Yes, 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 yes. So let's start off with where the tour is going to start. And so
Okay.
it's going to start at the Essence Festival in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is July 4th weekend. Essence happens every July 4th. And this is just the beginning. And why am I starting here? Because I go to Essence and I love it. I love everything that Essence stands for, Black women, sisterhood, all that. But also because New Orleans is my ancestral home. My mother was born and raised in New Orleans. Our family has been there for generations, and like literally in the heart of New Orleans, not a suburb of New Orleans, right uptown in the Garden District. We still have the house that my grandparents purchased when my mother was a teenager, and my aunt and my cousins still live there, right? And so um, to me, this is home. And to start something like this in my home, in my ancestral city, it just has to be right. So, you might have caught me snippets of me talking about women investing on women on different panels across the globe, but this is kicking off the actual women investing in women global tour and TV show. So once we record that and then our Houston one, those will go on to BronxNet and will be
Yes.
streaming come July 18th. So
Yes.
as soon as we start on July 18th, then you'll have a new episode every week and you'll be on the road with us. So we've got New Orleans, we've got Houston, and then we go to where I was born and raised, New York City, Jersey, right? And that's where Kitty represents, saying Kitty Rose represent New York City. And that's where BronxNet, that's how we're able to sign this TV deal. So we wanted to give a good shout out to BronxNet as well. And so, we go there. And then we go to Toronto for Caravana, baby, bringing in our Caribbean roots, going up to our Northern American countrymen up in
Yes.
Canada. So that's just a beautiful thing. We're loving that. And then we get to go over to Santa Fe, Argentina in September, which is just dope, which is amazing. Oh, wait, sorry, let me swing back because we're actually doing one in Miami in
Oh, that's
August.
right. August. Yes.
And then we got Miami. So of course, my home Miami, I'm gonna be showcasing a lot of the awesome and dope women that I have met down here who are movers and shakers doing amazing work. So yeah, so we've got Miami, we've got Santa Fe, Argentina in September, and then in October we are going to we're going to Marbella, Spain, Salamanca, Spain, and we are also going to Jamaica, Man, and we are excited. And what's also beautiful is that I'm getting, just by talking, there's so many people who have reached out who want to bring it to their country, to their cities, to their regions, because what we're doing here is creating a connected global ecosystem across all of these countries. So while some of our countries are out here trying to start wars and close their barriers down, close their borders down, we are all about, let's open up our borders. Let's look at the beauty of being humanity and see what it can do together when we all come together and collaborate in a well-run, well-rehearsed ecosystem. So it's just absolutely beautiful, and everything is amazing. So I have a feeling that there's going to be more to come, but that's what we've got. You
Yes.
can put it in the show notes where you can check out the website. And then there's just some other things that we're working on behind the scenes that we'll be talking about that we can launch. But this is what it's about. This is about the TV show. This is about the global tour that we're going on, our podcast series. So I don't know if you want to talk, Kitty, a little bit more about the platforms themselves,
Yes.
and then we'll get it from there.
Yeah. So I'm so glad. Again, I tell you, Kamara is a big supporter. Didn't I tell you? So BronxNet facility is where we are able to broadcast and use our studio to tape our New York shows, because this is on the road, a field show in a sense, as when it comes to public access. So yes, it will be launched on BronxNet on July 18th. But because this is a show we are going to be taking on the road, when we are in New York, we will be filming at their facilities. But they are so kind to allow us to film at their facilities. But the next chapter where we discuss Shades of Grey, this series is not only on BronxNet, but it's on Brick TV. It's on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. It's on Staten Island. So it's all on the 5 boroughs here in New York, which is why we're able to have the 4.7 million reach
That's right.
here in New York. But then as we said in one of our other announcements, between the both of us with our online community. So yes, this show will be broadcast and launched via New York broadcasting stations, but we're also being launched on Iconic TV. And when we launch on Iconic TV, then we'll be on Roku and all of the streaming, platforms. And we're still on YouTube. So people will be able to access us no matter where we're at, because we'll be on our YouTube channels, where we control the traffic, the revenue, all the stuff that we monetize or that we create via our different platforms. So just being able to have the facility here in New York, but not just the facility, we have a surprise restaurant. One of your sister friends, when we're going to be doing our quick fire, fundraising campaign, when we do the New York, when we go to Miami, like we have some stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just the conversations. And then we're on the podcast channels. So every podcast, from Spotify to Apple to iHeartRadio, your girls will be accessible to. And that's because of the work. None of that stuff happened overnight. But because, again, over the last 10 years and COVID, all the things that changed and hit us as a society, we had to reframe or rework what we were doing, or really just go along with the calling that the creator had for us. So right now, and me being a director, me being a filmmaker, yes, I produce television, but it's about producing quality. And it's about, again, showing the layers of what it takes to be a woman in business, to what it takes to be a woman who invests in women. What does that actually look like? So I'm excited for people to not only participate in the video that we're going to run all day today, so you guys can get the details, but just, again, following this journey along the way, because July 4th will be here before you know it. So we'll be in New Orleans in a hot second with our first show. You know what I'm saying? That's a month away. So imagine all of the things that we have to build up, all of the partnerships that we're creating and forming in just this month, that's going to be with us in New Orleans. And then the goal is that when you join us on one tour, you join us on the whole tour, so whatever partners come involved, we welcome you guys, because this is something that, again, show by example. What does it look like? So we got to show what it looks like in order for it to continue to go. And like you, I could talk forever as well. And that's the preacher in me. So we got 40 minutes in. What do we need to wrap up so people can know and be excited like we're excited? Because we can talk about this all morning long.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about this all morning. But listen, don't forget, it's called Women Investing in Women.
Yes.
The site will be linked in all the show notes, so you'll be able to go there. You can figure out all the ways that you can partner. Make sure that you follow us and continue to follow us on our socials as we continue to make announcements. DM us if you want to be a part, you want to partner, you want to collaborate. We want to use our platform to elevate the voices, and we want to meet you where you are. So these are the other things I want to say. So everything that we are talking about is flexible in the sense that we like to meet people where they are, because we're not gatekeepers. In fact, we open up our doors, we open up our platforms, we open up our networks to everybody for collaboration and cohesion. So I'm just so excited about this. I've been keeping mum on this for about 2 weeks now. So I'm like, yes. So geeked out, so stoked, so super, everything. So I just want to thank you for being my sister partner in this endeavor. I really appreciate it. And please, everyone else, just continue to support as you do. And don't forget, women investing in
And
women.
women.
Yes. Peace out, everybody.
Part. And I am a black woman. So yes, I matter. And
Indeed.
I am you. No.
I love you. Here we go. All right, y'all. Peace out.